Today we're going to be looking at if RFK has a chance at winning really just any state, seeing what his best case scenario is in the reality of realism. Now, I am an RFK supporter, so I am a little bit biased, on his stuff. So today we're going to be looking at the best states, the most likely states that RFK can win. So if we go here, if we have with Kennedy, the state where he's affecting where he's affecting Trump the most is Michigan, where he's affecting pretty much both candidates pretty well. Taking 5% of the vote is no easy matter as a third-party candidate, but we do have to remember that that this polling website uses multiple polling websites, and a lot of polling websites don't have him, and they have him as other candidate, or they just try and make it harder for people to vote him on these polls. But I think the most likely states for him to win are the smaller states. So I think states like Nevada and probably not Wyoming. That's pretty strong Republican. I could also see him winning a leftist swing state. So possibly Wisconsin or Michigan would be a very good case scenario. But we're doing best case scenario for him. So best case scenario, he probably barely wins Michigan, barely wins Nevada, and then another state I can possibly see him winning is Washington. And now we're going to do the safe states for Trump advance in this best case scenario for RFK. So Texas is probably a little bit lighter this time. Probably only like a 2 or 3 point lead above Harris and RFK instead of like a 5 or 10 point lead. And most of the safe states, I can see RFK possibly not taking away the votes from Trump, but splitting the votes between the Democrats in Republican states. And then I think if RFK does well in Georgia, I think Harris will end up winning Georgia. Very, very slow. Florida will probably be pretty close between RFK and Trump, but I feel like Trump would still come out in this case scenario. South Carolina's probably stays. West Virginia. Ohio would be as likely, so will Indiana. And then I feel like Minnesota would be close. Also think Wisconsin, best case scenario, want the more Democratic swing states. So I feel Harris Waltz will end up winning that. New York will be a lot closer this time. So will Maryland, probably safe. Delaware, likely. New Jersey, likely. And then Trump probably barely wins by the skin of his teeth, Pennsylvania. And then I feel like if RFK is to win more states than the ones that we already have, it would be some New England states. So I could see him winning maybe like the 2nd District of Maine or something like that. But best case scenario, he just makes it harder for Harris to win these states. Trump Vance probably still wins 2nd District, and then, yeah. Vermont is still given to the Democrats, but likely this time. Trump still takes New Hampshire, barely. I do think in a popular vote in this universe, this could be over 10 million plus votes for RFK, which would be absolutely huge for third parties overall. And then I do think that since RFK in the recent polls have been shown to eating up some of Trump's voters that would have voted for Trump if RFK didn't show up, so I do see Harris ends up winning Virginia. And then, not Colorado. Imagine that world. And then Harris still ends up winning Colorado, but a little bit harder. She wins Hawaii pretty safe. California and Oregon still go to Harris Waltz. And then Trump still wins Wyoming, Indiana, Montana, Utah. And then these safe states up here. And then I feel like the more Midwest states, RFK eats out Trump's votes, but Trump still comes out on top on most of these. And then Harris still takes Illinois very easily. She probably won't even campaign in it too much. She takes New Mexico, but New Mexico is changing to a little bit more rightist, a little bit more Republican. And then Trump still ends up winning Arizona, and then Harris takes DC very easily, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. And then Trump ends up taking Iowa. And then within this universe, where no candidate gets 270 votes, since the Senate is already controlled by Republicans and the Congress is also controlled by Republicans, and also in this universe, it's common sense because Trump has the most electoral votes out of all of this, the government would end up picking Trump for presidency. Oh, forgot to color in these. Yep. Well, that's all.